Hello everyone and welcome to Halo Xplored, our series on X Interact where we rank and review each mainline Halo title up to the release of Halo Infinite. Tonight I'm your host Eric, I'm joined by Gaff and Sam, and we're here to review Halo 3. If you like what you see, please follow us at xinteract_ on Twitter to get updates and uploads on our latest videos on YouTube and on the podcast services like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that stuff. For now though, let's talk about Halo 3. So before I go into the facts and stuff, guys, your quick thoughts on Halo 3?
Amazing game. Many would say the best of the original Bungie trilogy, and I think that's hard to debate because it's just refined the Halo formula just so perfectly at that point in time. Like, you thought Halo 2 was good, Halo 3 is even better because now the story is complete. It's actually in HD now because at the time it was the first HD 720p Halo game, and it had very robust multiplayer, right? Like, this game, they actually got to flesh out all the ideas that they wanted from Halo 1 and 2. Well, not all of them actually, but like I think it was like the least problematical development period for Halo. So I just think it's a very polished product. So chef's kiss.
Yeah, I agree with that last thing you said. It's definitely like the most polished one so far. Everything from like the implementation of the music doesn't just go away like it did in like Halo 2 and Combat Evolved, which annoyed the hell out of me when I was in the middle of battle and the music would just stop. But yeah, polished gameplay isn't vastly different from the first two. But yeah, I enjoyed my time with the game. Obviously, Halo's still just like not something that I'm gonna fall in love with. I just don't think that's gonna happen for me. But yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I agree with you both there, where this feels like a more polished Halo 2 experience. Development details I have here, it said like they basically wanted to make right for Halo 2's problems. And so you can like definitely see that in this game. But otherwise,
Not to mention that
oh, go ahead.
I still think it still holds up very, very well today in terms of looks and gameplay. On the Master Chief Collection, you got it in 4K, 60 FPS, 120 FPS, whatever, and it looks crisp and shiny and almost as if it were made today. Not if you look at the human face models, but if you ignore that,
When me and Eric were just playing multiplayer, I was saying the water looked really good. And I was like, holy crap, for an old game, this water looks pretty damn good.
I remember last episode I said that I think Halo 2 looked better than Halo 3, obviously because it was remastered, but like Halo 3 definitely didn't look as bad as I was like thinking it was. The last time I played it was on an original Xbox One through the Master Chief Collection, obviously. So I guess that's why I think it looked bad. But like playing it through now on a Series S, obviously like enhanced for the new consoles, it does look a lot better than I remember it being. But other than that, I'm going to dive right into the facts. We're going to explore these facts again. Halo 3 released September 25th, 2007 on the Xbox 360 and is the third installment in the Halo franchise. It concludes a story arc that started in 2001's Halo Combat Evolved. The game was once again developed by Bungie and published by Microsoft Game Studios. Obviously, it's part of the Master Chief Collection that runs upscaled in a higher frame rate. Gaff, correct me if I'm wrong. All the Halo games, I don't know since when, but like they ran at 30 frames until the Master Chief Collection, right?
correct.
Yeah, so you can definitely feel the improvements on the Master Chief Collection. I know Reach definitely was 30 because I had the 360 version, and then when I played the Master Chief Collection, I was like, oh, no, I can't play Reach.
Oh my god, yeah, don't even look back.
The development of Halo 2 had taken a toll on the employees of Bungie. The game was rushed and full of hardship, which resulted in the game's final act being cut. Bungie saw Halo 3 as a chance to make right to the fans for Halo 2's problems. Bungie co-founder Jason Jones went on a sabbatical after Halo 2 shipped. This left the Halo 3 team with little direction or leadership on the project.
Wow.
Yeah. Crunch, man. Crunch is no joke.
Just wait. Keep reading.
After coming into conflict with other staff writers, Joseph Staten, he also took a vacation. So with no clear person responsible for the story, they had to draft the story by committee, and then they presented it to senior staff at Bungie. Staten did eventually return to do edits to the plot after it was established. Other than that, it doesn't seem like there was much development issues. It was just like the two head honchos basically were like, nah.
They just fucked off right after Halo 2. Like, see ya.
Good luck.
Oh my god. Yeah, basically that though. Yeah, like they're just like, yeah, we need a vacation because fuck what we did in Halo 2. That shit fucked us up.
I don't blame them.
I like the way you put it,
Yeah.
Gav. You were like, they just fucked off. But unlike Halo 2's development, staff at Bungie recalled Halo 3 development being much more smooth and having much more time to add features like Forge mode. At E3 2006, Bungie officially announced Halo 3. They were more transparent about the game's development than Halo 2. They basically did like a weekly blog update on their website, kind of like which reminds me like what Sakurai does with like his, well, not now, but like what he used to do back then for like Smash 4 and like Brawl with the pictures and stuff like that. I just like seeing that kind of stuff when devs do that, where they just update you constantly. During development, the game was separated between single player and multiplayer builds. This is good. This was like apparently good because it made debugging and testing much easier and quicker. I don't know any other games that do that, but I assume like I just have to assume that games do that nowadays, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Maybe like Infinite, because now we're getting like all those flights and stuff. I guess that's how it'll work. I don't know. I'm not a game dev. I don't know how this shit works. But the game's single player was mostly kept secret leading up till release, unlike the multiplayer, which they did detail months up to release. The first campaign screenshot didn't appear until July 5th, 2007, 2 months before release, which maybe happens with Infinite too, because we haven't seen much of campaign.
Yeah. I was gonna say this feels
Well, we
very similar
did.
to right now because
We
we
got a whole demo.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
was like last year, and we haven't seen much since. So I feel like they're gonna blow it out close. Obviously, they're
Yeah.
gonna blow it out close to release. It feels like very similar to like what's happening now. And obviously, they made a multiplayer beta public, but you needed a disc of Crackdown in order to play, which is widely known. You know, like Gaff, were you around? Were you around on the 360 this time? Because
Not yet.
no,
Still not yet.
I just want to know if there was someone here who did. Maybe Steven, but I don't know. Because, like I said, I didn't get a Xbox until the Xbox One. So I was never around for Halo 3's heyday. But anyways, Microsoft has spent $40 million marketing Halo 3. They wanted to sell more 360s and widen the appeal of Halo 3 beyond the Halo faithful fans.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can tell that because there was a lot of stuff, a lot of marketing back then, like trailers, gameplay recordings, CGI, and live action films. And obviously,
Dude, they had the best fucking trailers ever in video. Okay, I won't be so bold to say video game history. I'll get into a little bit more in the fun facts, but they did spend a lot of marketing.
and then they also had the very famous Mountain Dew Game Fuel. Did you guys ever drink that before? I don't think I've ever had one.
No, not me.
No?
lots of like Mountain Dew, but not the game fuel.
Have they ever brought it back? I feel like there was a promotion with another Halo game where they brought it back. Or I could just be making that up.
Well, like Game Fuel is their brand for like their energy drinks now.
Oh,
like,
is
for
it?
all their energy. Yeah,
Oh,
pretty sure.
maybe I looked at
Because
it.
I think there's like all types of flavors.
I know, like, there's like Mountain Dew. Like, I know there's like energy drinks. I've seen them like in cans, like at Walmart and stuff. I didn't know like there was
Yeah,
Game Fuel ones.
yeah, that's just their energy drink thing. It's on their website.
Kind of
Mountain
weird.
Dew
to call-
Facts brought to you by Halo Xplored.
Hey, it's topical. Halo 3's final test copy before it went gold actually leaked online months before the game's release. Microsoft then proceeded to ban anyone who were playing the leaked copy until the year 9,999. But the year after, your account was going to be probably unbanned. So if you're still alive at that time, or you pass it down to like, I don't know, to your kids or something, I don't know, you'll have it unbanned. That's insane.
Be a
though.
lot of kids. Be a lot of generations.
Halo 3 launched again on September 25th, 2007 and received critical acclaim. As of 2012, the game has sold 14.5 million copies. It reached $170 million in revenue in the first day of release. So it's a lot of crazy stuff there.
I think I read that it was the highest selling US game in 2007, which was especially an achievement because it was just on the Xbox 360. So suck it, PS3.
I mean, PS3 had its own problems back then.
Yeah, dude. Fucking fat motherfucker.
So real quick, the 360, when did it launch? 2006? Do you know, Gaff?
Ye-
Because Halo 3
Maybe?
wasn't a launch title.
Yeah, I think it was 2006 because that's when Oblivion came out, I think. And that came out on the 360.
The 360 launched in November 22nd, 2005. Wow.
Holy shit,
Oh,
for like 2 years.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Okay.
They waited 2 years
Wow.
before their next Halo.
Wow.
Halo's never been a launch title then.
Yeah.
Never will.
Since Combat Evolved, it wasn't a launch title.
Yeah. What the hell? Always thought.
Infinite was supposed to, but we all know how
nuts.
that happened. That's basically it for like the development and the fact. I'm gonna be honest, I looked at all this on Wikipedia and they didn't really have much.
Yeah, because Bungie offices weren't a dumpster fire this time around.
Yeah, but they basically had it down at this point. Besides, the two head honcho's leaving for a while.
Well, they went away, they got their batteries re-energized, they came back with some fresh ideas, and they got the team together.
To be honest, that's understandable. Like after a long crunching period like Halo 2, I would probably be like, I'm out of here for a while. But anyways, enough about that. Let's get into the plot explored. Gaff, Lore Master Gaff, explore that plot with us.
The year is 2553, and it's November 17th, which, you know, if you look at the date, that is the 11th month. Wait, no, is it November 7th? Okay, I was wrong. Never mind. Well, actually, it's like 1117, and Master Chief's service number is 117. So there's your
Just an
Easter egg for
extra
you.
one.
But anyway, this game takes place a few weeks after Halo 2. The dramatic cliffhanger that was Halo 2, right? And then this game opens up with a shot just at a dark, starry sky. And you see this flaming trail racing across. And then you hear a voiceover of Cortana. She's retelling the story of how she was partnered up with Chief, where where Chief was chosen because he was the most outstanding among the children that were kidnapped for the Spartan 2 program. The reason that John was picked was not because of his strength, not because of his brains, because of one quality: luck. And then the comet crashes down to Earth, and then we cut to day, and we see Sergeant Johnson and a bunch of Marines investigating the crash site. It's Master Chief. He fell from space because what's the fastest way to get from that Forerunner ship to Earth? You fall right down. And he survived. And he survived because of some shit to do with the gel layer. It's a whole thing. I won't even get into the science fiction of it. So then they wake Chief up. They're like, Chief, war's still going on. We need you to fight. And he's like, cool, I'm ready. Then he sees some shimmering just behind them, and he gets all aggressive. Chief gets a pistol and holds it up to the being's neck. It's the Arbiter, because as you know, as we left off from the last game, Chief and Arbiter, they were forced to work together by the Gravemind, but that doesn't make them allies, and they're still not allies. Chief does not trust the Arbiter, and Arbiter is very much not taking any of Chief's shit. But Sergeant Johnson tells them to suck it up and work together because they need to. And so the game takes us through this jungle, and we're fighting Covenant, and we're introduced to a whole bunch of new things. So elites, they're no longer the bad guys. It's just brutes, and the brutes have their own cool new weapons and their cool new armors. Then we got bubble shields, we got power drains, we got regenerators. Like, warfare has changed a lot in the 3 weeks that Chief has been asleep.
Can I just say, I don't like the brutes design in this game. I hate the
Really?
hairless brutes. They look so weird to me. I like their Halo 2 design better where they have like hair and shit.
All right. I won't fight you there.
They just look weird.
So Chief and Arbiter, they're fighting through the jungle, and things are going well. But at some point, Sergeant Johnson gets separated, and he gets captured by the Covenant, and so we gotta rescue him. And then at a certain point in this level, we jump down this cave in this deep hole, and then comes one of the few bad parts of Halo 3, where we're forced to listen to a voiceover from Cortana, and our screen flashes blue, and she says some words in her head. And while this is happening, you walk at a snail's pace, like you're walking through molasses. It's
And
very,
it does it again.
very jarring.
And again. And then it does it again and again and again and again and again. Later.
Every level.
Yeah, kind of every level, yeah.
But things end well because we eventually save Sergeant Johnson, and we get back on the Pelican, and then we head back to home base, which is Crow's Nest. When we arrive in Crow's Nest, things are looking pretty bad. All the soldiers are all pretty banged up, but they suddenly get a glint of hope because Master Chief has arrived, and he's supposed to save the day. We go into the base. Miranda Keys is there. Yay, she's back. And we're talking to Lord Hood on the computer screen, but then the screen cuts out, and then suddenly it's the Prophet of Truth. He's the leadership of the Covenant now because his other two prophets we killed them. He's warning Earth, yada, 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 but we're not taking any of that. Unfortunately, the Covenant have infiltrated Crow's Nest. We gotta fight them off. And then this causes Miranda Keys to say one of the worst lines ever in the entire game, which is, so she's telling everyone to leave, to get going. And one of the soldiers asks, to go where? And then she says, to war. That doesn't answer the question.
You like that?
We fight off all the Covenant in the base, and this is where we're introduced to oh no, sorry, I was gonna say the bugs, but we saw the bugs in the Halo 2. Never mind, but they're still annoying.
To be fair, they're more like prevalent in Halo 3 than they were in Halo 2.
Yeah, because that new 360 technology, they can fit more of them at one time.
Yeah, they're definitely like the most underused like Covenant enemy. I think Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
So
they're
correct
only
me
in there
if
like two or three times.
yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong. Are they in Halo Reach?
They are in Halo Reach.
Okay, so never mind. I was gonna say because like I know they're not in Halo 4. I know they're not in Halo 5. So I was like, are they only in Halo 2 and 3?
At the end, we are going to evacuate the base because we're gonna try to save lives. But as we're in the elevator with a bunch of Marines, there's an explosion. Our elevator crashes and it goes dark. And then there's a very spooky Cortana voiceover that kind of scared me when I first played this game many years ago. We wake up and things are in shambles, but we're gonna go rescue some Marines that are stranded out in the wilderness, kind of like we did way back in the second mission of Halo Combat Evolved. That's a throwback for you. So we go save the Marines in our optionally cool Warthog that it's just a troop carrier, right? That can fit like 6 Marines or something. We go save everyone. It involves driving on some highways. It's called the Sava Highway, actually. We're mounting up and we're trying to go to the city of Voy because we're going to go join the rest of the UNSC and we're going to fight off the Covenant that are currently besieging Earth, specifically Africa. Why they're in Africa? We'll find out very soon. We're fighting through the assault on the city, and it's very cinematic. We're fighting wraiths. We're going through tunnels. We're taking out shields. We get introduced to even more cool vehicles like the chopper, which is the brute motorcycle that can shoot bullets on its own. And I think it's a very badass weapon. There are some anti-air wraiths that we can take out now. And then in this level, we finally get to fight a scarab. Guys, like let me tell you, like this quote unquote boss fight, I think is amazing because you have to take out the legs by riding on a mongoose with a grunt, a marine, sitting on your back with a rocket launcher. You just gotta keep driving around and let the marine take out the legs.
No, no, they have terrible aim. I just took a fuck. I'm pretty sure I took a ghost and just shot the legs myself. Those
Oh, that's what
Marines
I
have
did.
terrible aim.
That's what I did for that one. I took a ghost, shot the fuck out of it, and then jumped right on there.
Okay, or you could do that. But then once you take out the legs, then you board the scarab and you take out the Covenant inside, and then you chuck some grenades at the shields, and then the scarab blows up in a very, very bright explosion. And I think it's just for the time, I think this is like such a cool fight.
I like the part where you fight them, where you fight the two later on.
Oh yeah, that's much later in the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I forgot, like, or not, I didn't forget, but like, when I first was trying to take out the scarab, I went in the back, I was shooting at the core, and then it destroyed it, but I kept shooting at it. I was like, did I destroy it? And then I was still on the scarab, and then it blew up. I was like, oh, I did destroy it because I died afterwards. Explosion.
After we kill the scarab, we then have to take out some anti-air cannons because they're stomping our air force. So we're doing that. We climb the hill, and then we see this like giant cannon shooting things into the sky. And then we go into its underbelly, and we take out the core, and the thing explodes. And yay, it's great. Our air force can finally get in. We see our big UNSC gunships like flying through, and then in a very kick-ass moment, we see UNSC and Covenant or Friendly Covenant band together, right? Because we got Arbiter and Arbiter's bro called Halfjaw. He has his own fleet to command. So yeah, we're combining forces, and then they focus fire on the enemy Covenant ships that are currently excavating this giant hole in the ground in the middle of Africa. So they're shooting, but it doesn't work. It doesn't phase them. And then this giant energy wave seems to knock everyone on their ass. And suddenly we see this giant blue portal floating in our sky. And we don't know where it goes, except that the enemy Covenant are trying to go through there. That's very scary. But before we can handle that, a swift space portal opens up in our atmosphere, and a strange foreign Covenant ship flies in, and it's all covered in gray, this yellow green dust, right? And it crashes somewhere in the city. And Arbiter goes, "What's that? More brutes?" And then Chief goes, "Worse." It's the Flood, guys. The Flood is back. You thought you were rid of them, but they're not.
These
No,
things,
you guys didn't like this?
no, it's not that. I just said these things are like their name says, literal fucking parasites, like fucking out of nowhere.
I love the flood in this game.
I
Like,
think,
they
yeah,
were
they're
so
yeah.
much better.
Yeah, I
than they
agree
were
with
in
that.
the
Like they're
first two.
not bullshit like the other two games.
Lore-wise, I really like this part of the game because you forget about the Flood, honestly, up until now, because you're so focused on the Covenant. But then
Mhm.
you're like, oh yeah, right, there's a third enemy that's like arguably much more dangerous than everyone else, and they found Earth. That's really, really bad. Earth is where a lot of people are, and if they take Earth, we're screwed. So that's why an outbreak is so
Mhm.
daunting here.
This
Yeah?
next mission, was it Floodgate? I believe
Yeah.
is what it's called. It is one of my favorite of the game. Just from like an aesthetic standpoint. So you got like it's kind of like foggy, shit's like on fire, it's really creepy,
You're
eerie.
you're
I really
literally
love
like
it.
retracing your steps through the
Yeah.
last level.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and from a gameplay perspective, I think Halo 3 really did the Flood much better because, okay, first of all, plasma weapons are now the weapon to go when you're fighting the Flood. They do extra damage against the Flood. So
Hmm.
when you dual wield your plasma rifles, that's like you're dandy. That and the energy sword.
You should give me these tips before I play the game.
Should have asked. As well, we now have some new Flood enemy types that we're introduced to in this level. We got the three pure Flood forms, right? Flood that aren't made of just infected corpses. They're just made of pure Flood biomass. And those things arrive once a place reaches like a certain level of mass. So we got the tank forms, which, true to the name, they take a lot of damage to fully kill. You got the ranged forms, which these giant like squishy balls that hang from like ceilings, and they snipe you, and they're pretty good at it, and they can kill you if you're not careful and not watching your six. And then you got the crawling forms, which are like the giant spiders, and they'll try to come up close to you. And these forms they interchange, they shift from one to another. So yeah, I think they add a good splash of fun to the flood that they've been missing. Arbiter in chief and some elite reinforcements too. We're taking down the flood as we're hearing the screams of our marine brethren dying in the arms of the flood. We're fighting through the city, we're reclaiming it, and we reach the crashed ship because obviously to stop the core of this infection, we're gonna blow up the very thing that it came from. So we're gonna explode the core, and we're deep inside, and it's all gross and squishy, and the doors like slide open like giant anuses. And once we get inside, we we find what appears to be Cortana, and we're obviously very happy. So cut to the next level. We investigate what we found. It's not Cortana. It's just a recorded message that she left for you. Also, meanwhile, the friendly covenant, they're glassing like this part of Africa, like just raising and burning it to the ground, just leaving presumably no survivors, but also presumably they probably evacuated everyone before they started doing this. And then Hood and Halfjob, they have like this argument where it goes, "We should trust you. You just glassed half of Africa." And Halfjob goes, "One single spore can destroy an entire planet. If I had it my way, I'd glass like half your planet." So I thought it was some quick and cool exchange of dialogue. Cortana, she gives us a big hint about what's through the portal. It's the Ark. And then 343 Guilty Spark arrives. And Guilty Spark, he's a good guy now. So we're listening to him. And he tells us about the Ark. And then Miranda Keys and everyone, they decide that we have to go through the Ark to stop the Covenant from activating the Ark because the Ark allows you to then like remotely fire all seven of the Halo rings. And if all seven fire, then it will completely wipe the entire galaxy of sentient life. And that's very, very not good. The UNSC and the Covenant, they go through the portal. And here we enter the Ark. So we arrive at the Ark and we use some, I think we drop pods to land on the surface. And it's a very sandy environment, very deserty. We're going through again where we're taking out shields, we're taking out outposts. I forget if this is where we fight two scarabs with a warthog slash tank. Maybe. I
No,
forget.
that's the second to last mission, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
Is
that's
when we
before we.
is when we fight. I believe it's called. My notes say the Covenant is the mission name.
Okay. So my memory gets a little fuzzy around this point because the two arc levels, they're very, very good, but they as far as like visual language goes, I think they're very similar. We do some backtracking here and there, looking at Forerunner facilities. Oh, I remember now. There's a really dope moment where we take out two anti-air wraiths, and then we're just standing there. We're waiting because Marina Key says they're coming, and then suddenly the Forward Onto Dawn, the giant UNSC ship, it swoops down close to the ground, and it just like fills your entire camera view, and the screen shakes because like you have a giant ship right next to you, and it drops down a humongous scorpion tank for you to pilot. And that is a very standout moment from Halo 3 for me. Just because the combination of the music and the scale of it all, and just like morale boost from seeing the industrialism of the UNSC. It's awesome. We're doing things, we're in the Forerunner facility, and we figure out more of Prophet of Truth's plan. And then we move on to the next level. And this next level, we're introduced to a new vehicle called the Hornet, which is a flying vehicle. How'd you guys like that?
I like them, I guess.
Well, I
Yeah,
thought it was cool because we never had a human flying vehicle up until
Yeah.
now.
yeah. I was gonna say
Yeah.
it's like we had the Banshee, now we have this too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I,
and
I
it's
think
like
I think I like these more than the Banshee.
Yeah. One thing I couldn't figure out how to fucking descend. Like I know I could ascend, but I couldn't figure out how to
Dude,
descend.
same. It took me forever. For some reason, it's like LB or I think was what it was because I played on controller this time and I was like,
I have the
what
same
the
issue as you. Yeah.
I was like,
Was it even
the
LB? I
control
tried
scheme in the
pressing it. I don't remember what it was, but
I don't know.
I pressed. I know it was like how did I go down? I kept pressing all the buttons to try to like descend, and it like wouldn't work.
The default control scheme in this game was whack. I was like, what in the world is this fucking controls? But whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I adjusted.
For example, it wasn't like the default for melee B when I'm so
Yeah.
used to being right bumper.
Yeah, and then like I'm used to having reload as like X on
Oh
Xbox
yeah,
or square, but it's RB.
yeah.
So I would always accidentally press X, and I think that's your ability or whatever the hell you have.
Maybe.
Their
I
pickup,
don't remember.
maybe. But yeah, controls were confusing the hell out of me for a bit there.
No, yeah. For me on the Master Chief Collection, I changed all the games to be like all the same control setup. I have it under Universal Reclaimer, which makes clicking in the
Same.
right stick zoom in, right bumper to melee, and then everything else is basically normal. Left trigger for grenades, and then obviously X is reload and stuff like that. So it's I play every Halo game like that. To be honest, like I feel like that's just the most natural way to play it.
Yeah, not like those freaks that play bumper jumper. I'm kidding. That's probably better for
'Cause-
competitive.
Because now that you mention it, Sam, when I played Halo 3 for the first time, I was like, "What the fuck are these controls?"
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to mess with the control scheme for going forward if I play with controller.
We take out like the 3 giant pillars because those drop like the shields or something. That's how
Yeah.
we get to truth, the prophet of truth.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what happens is that I remember this part. Miranda sends like 3 teams. You're going to one, the elites are going to another, and then Johnson's going to another one. But
They're
Johnson wasn't responding to his calls or something
Yeah, so we
like
had to
that.
bail him out. Yeah.
Yeah, so we had to deactivate ours. The elites deactivated theirs, but then we had to go to the one Johnson was doing. I don't remember if they said Johnson was kidnapped or not, or if we just find that out later on.
I think once we arrive to his pylon and he's not there, then I think we then figure out that he's in trouble. And Miranda Keys actually. But yeah, we stop the pylons and we actually end up fighting Flood too. The Flood's spreading on the arc as well. They're killing our guys, they're killing Bruce, they're killing the elites, they're just assimilating everything. We stop all the pylons and then we gotta go stop Truth himself from firing all 7 of the Halo rings. And so we go back to like I guess the control room where we make it to like the door that comes before like the very giant grand corridor that leads to like the actual control room. And then one of the coolest moments in Halo of all time happens because me and Arbiter, Chief and Arbiter, were ready to like kick some ass. And then these 2 Flood tank forms just drop in and they can talk. Okay. And this, when you think about it, it's pretty scary because what's happening is the Flood, they're negotiating with us. Basically, they make a deal with us saying, hey, you don't want Truth to fire the rings. I don't want Truth to fire the rings. Let's team up. Let's take them down together, right? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And Chief and Arbiter, they reluctantly agreed because they're right. If Truth wins, then everyone dies. And they figure maybe we can stop the Flood later on, but for now we gotta stop Truth. So the fact that the Flood, this infection, this plague, is intelligent enough to understand that it needs to work together with its food, that's terrifying. But come on, right? Like we have friendly Flood like fighting alongside. We got infection forms killing the enemies in front of us and turning them into more Flood. We got the giant tanks just barreling through. Tell me that's not awesome.
I think you missed the part with Miranda. I don't know if this is before or after that part. Where
The
Miranda
cutscene
no.
with Miranda.
comes
The big Miranda Keys moment happens like in a sec.
Yeah, I think
But-
it happens pretty close together.
Yeah,
So-
I don't remember like the order of things.
We're almost there. Like we're almost at the part you're mentioning. So we're going through this grand hallway, and it's cool because we're actually going through like there's 7 rings above us representing the 7 actual Halo rings. And if you go to the 4th one, it's letting up red segments.
Wait,
because
so
that,
yeah, the Miranda key stain had to have happened now
Yeah,
no, it happens.
already.
I think
It happens after.
no, I think what happens is that we see Truth trying to get Johnson to activate the ring. Johnson's like trying to provoke the brutes to killing him so he can't activate the ring. Then we see Miranda fly in, bust into the window to try and save him. Johnson tells her to kill him, but she hesitates, and then I assume a brute killed her. We don't see like who it was, but she got
The prophet kills her.
the prophet. She gets shot in the back basically. Then Truth activates the rings. And I think then the Gravemind comes in to negotiate
Oh,
with us.
you're right. You're right. My
Yeah, well,
bad.
that's what
I stand
happens.
corrected.
And then
So
we
yeah,
go
the
like
situation's
down
even more
the
dire then.
yeah, and then we go down the corridor because then we like obviously see like the holographic parts of the rings lighting up, which is pretty cool actually. Like you see like the 7 rings, and when you see the number 4, you're like, oh, that's from Halo 1.
Yeah, that's the one you destroyed. Yeah. So things are very dire. But we eventually make it to the end and we confront Truth. And Arbiter has Truth in his grasp, and it's a very climactic and heartfelt moment because Arbiter has been lied to his entire life by Truth, right? He was enslaved to this false religion. He killed literally billions of people for these guys, and rightfully he's pissed. Truth is spotting some religious bullshit. As he's doing it, like you see like these little flood tentacles like start sprouting from his neck, and it's kind of gross. It's actually wild because Arbiter and the Gravemind are like talking shit to Truth, but the Gravemind is like talking through Truth's like infected body, so that's pretty metal. And finally Arbiter thrusts his energy sword through Truth's body, killing the last prophet and ending the Covenant leadership. And then he gives off a very heartfelt roar into the sky. But all is not well because the Gravemind starts bellowing this earth-shattering laugh. Because now the rings are not going to be fired, so nothing is stopping the Gravemind from going ham, and that's very bad. Chief and Arbiter they try to escape, but they can't, and so they have to. Oh, as Arbiter said, they traded one enemy for another. Yeah, what's up?
This is where probably my favorite moment in the entire fucking trilogy happens when they're back to back,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
and then the Arbiter ignites the fucking energy sword. Oh my god, that was so sick.
that's when you know shit's getting real because they gotta face like the final bad guy together, and they're
Yeah,
brothers now when they start this game off as like enemies.
yeah, and then not only that moment, but like going back down through the Marines,
Yeah,
fighting all the flood. It's so cool, and like the music is like fucking perfect. It's just like chills.
I'm glad it affected you that way. I'm very happy. We go back to the way we came, and then we eventually escape. How do we escape? Can you remind me? Or
I think
So we go
we jump down like some chute of some sort. I don't know.
yeah, like
yeah,
it's like behind the
Almost
elevator we came in from, I
yeah.
believe, or something like that.
Yeah, we go past the elevator and there's like, I don't know, looks like a laundry chute or some shit. We like jump through. And I can't remember what happens
Yeah,
after
like
that.
a shoot or a vent or something.
Yeah.
somehow we get away from all that messiness, and then we decide, okay, we need Cortana. Only Cortana can like figure out a permanent solution to all this messiness. But if you remember, the last place we left Cortana, do you guys remember where?
High charity, but I think you're
Uh,
forgetting, son.
You got it. You got it, Eric.
You're forgetting. You're getting a little too ahead of yourself, Gaff. Cause
I think so too.
yeah, cause after we get out of that chute or whatever, they discover like that the Ark is fixing the Halo that
Oh
Chief
yeah.
destroyed.
So
Yeah.
the Ark is
Is this
also a ring manufacturing machine in case one of the rings do get destroyed. And so we're on this cliff, and yeah, as you said, a ring rises up, and Guilty Spark explains it's a replacement for the one you destroyed back in Combat Evolved. But like you can see, there are some segments missing. It's not a finished ring. It's like in its like beginning stages, but it's good enough as Chief decides.
Guilty Spark is awfully chill about like seeing the person who destroyed his ring. He's like, "Oh, I'll help you out again. Sure, why not?"
They address that a few levels back. Guilty Spark goes, "Well, you destroyed my original purpose. However, you are a reclaimer, and my makers, they made you to be like their inheritors, so therefore I will listen to you."
Oh, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
There you go. Plot hole closed. So Chief decides the only way to stop this flood is to ignite the ring, just like they did in Good Old Combat Evolved. And so that's why they decided to go to High Charity, because they need Cortana, because she still has the activation index. And so he's gonna go keep a promise to a girl. Q, like one of the best, I think, lore wise Halo levels, but one of the worst gameplay wise. How do you, what are you guys'
I
opinion?
agree. I
Yeah.
this is where you're going through the fucking like wet shit, right? And the anuses. I fucking yeah. I like the flood in it, but like I hate just I hate it. You get lost so easily.
Because everything looks the
Going in
same.
yeah, going in fucking circles. And that I was going to get to it later, but I'll bring it up now since we got to it. I don't really I think I noticed this while I was doing this level. I really do not like levels that are in interiors for the most
Interesting.
part in Halo. Like I've noticed that I really like the exterior levels because I really like the environments and stuff like that. I just don't vibe with the interior design because like everything just looks the exact same and like you get lost so easily like every time it seems like you're inside of something of anything really. So yeah, this level sucks.
Eric, you?
Yeah, this level does suck. I mean, when I first played Halo 3, like this definitely like was a slog level. This time I played on easy mode, so like most of the time I was just like rushing through the Covenant. But
Yeah.
like Sam said, there was like a few times where I was getting kind of lost because everything just looks the same.
So yeah, we're cutting through Flood. Hopefully with your energy sword and dual plasma rifles. Otherwise, you're gonna have a very hard time.
Nah, I just use energy sword most of the time.
Yeah.
Yep. Same.
And you're walking through anus after anus, and Cortana, she's going crazy in your head. She's cackling because she's slowly being tortured by the Gravemind, who's also somehow in your head. I guess through Cortana. Um, and your screen's shaking. Everything's going green. It's just awful. But eventually, you reach the point where you left Cortana last time, and this is your reward for slogging through this level because it's very somber music. You hear those iconic piano notes, the boom 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 boom. It's like soft blue light. Cortana, she's lying down. She's been beaten to hell and back because she's just been being tortured these past few weeks. And she almost doesn't believe that Chief is here, but Chief is here, and he very tenderly like welcomes her back, and they reunite, and it's just two lifelong companions like come back together. You just can't make that up. Yeah, the dynamic duo is reunited, and as typical of her, she has a plan to get you out. So we destroy like a bunch of like pillars, and that starts off this like self destruction sequence. And there's a timer, right? Is there a timer? There's no
I
timer.
don't think so.
No.
No.
All right, there's
There's
no
no
timer.
timer. No.
But yeah, you have to run back through the level, retrace your steps, which is stressful because right, everything looks the same, and if everything's exploding around you, you want to get out as fast as you can. Eventually, you make it back to the ship. The Arbiter. If you're playing single player, if you're single player, the Arbiter will show up and he'll just like have a flamethrower and just lay down cover fire for you as you get into the Pelican.
This fucker killed me with the flamethrower. I was so pissed. I got to him and he just lit me on fire because I was like in front of him like shooting people and then he just lit my ass on fire. I'm like, what the fuck? This fucker. And then I had to go back like 5 minutes. I was pissed.
That's funny. You get back on the Pelican, and then we enter the final level of Halo 3, appropriately named Halo. So we're on the unfinished ring. It's very snowy, very reminiscent of, again, one of our most hated levels of all time, Assault on the Control Room. But just gotta do it one more time, guys. Just one more time.
But this isn't as bad.
No.
Oh yeah,
You know, this is
not even
awesome. As I said, I like the outside environments in these games. But
just some PTSD of some
yeah, for
times.
sure.
You and the Arbiter, you're fighting through Covenant coming down through these drop pods. It's kind of cool. You're going up like the very same structures that you were in like 2 games ago. It's cool. And you make it inside the structure. It's all very nostalgic because it's the same architecture. It's giving the same vibes as you were so many years ago. You make it into the control room, and Sergeant Johnson goes to put in the activation index. But like, why did it have to be Johnson? Why couldn't Chief in the very secure armor? Why couldn't he go?
I don't know, man. I don't want to talk about it.
because unfortunately, Guilty Spark, he does not take this plan very well.
Betrays us again. Shocker.
No, it's actually sad because we're actually getting along with Guilty Spark throughout this
I don't
game.
know
Like,
about getting along.
It's the same fucking shit that happened in the first game. They were like, hey, we can't come up with another twist, so we're just gonna do the same fucking thing. And just make this mysterious little ball of a robot fucking betray us and fucking kill Johnson. R.I.P.
yeah, Johnson. Guilty Spark. He lasers Johnson and knocks Arbiter off like the wall, so it forces Chief to fight by himself if you're a single player. You fight him, but your bullets. He's impervious to your bullets. It's bad. But Johnson gives you the key, which is a Spartan laser, which is a weapon introduced in this game, and it's an awesome weapon. Just the name of it itself is awesome because it's a giant red laser. You shoot Guilty Spark 3 times with a laser, and Guilty Spark explodes, and thus we say farewell to our glowing, floating blue ball.
Guilty Spark was rampant, right? Like future spoilers,
Yeah.
so there's no what rampant is.
Finally broke, which is amazing because Forerunner AI, they're obviously way more advanced than human AI, which only have a lifespan of 7 years.
And also, real quick, I was looking on the Halo Wikipedia. I didn't know the replacement ring was installation 9. I thought it would just be like another 4.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Wait a second. If there's 7 rings, what the fuck happened to 8?
Good point.
Because the arc is 0, isn't it? So that makes
We say goodbye to Johnson, who dies in our arms. But then he tells you, tell him to make it count. We activate the ring.
Johnson's death was fucking bullshit, though. I'm not gonna lie. Because that little fucker went rampant. Like, fuck off.
I'm not happy about it either.
Oh, wait, no, I'm wrong. Wait, the replacement was number 8. So what the fuck was the one I was just looking at that said number 9? Halo, these fucking Halo rings, man.
And so we light the ring, and we're fighting through like the last few waves of Covenant because we get to Johnson's Warthog. Oh, what's up?
Number 9 is the replacement for the one that we just destroyed this game. So it's the second replacement. This is I don't even know there was fucking what game was okay, I'm going off topic here. Just keep going.
So then we enter again appropriately a Warthog run, and guys, like this makes any huge Halo fan just tugs on your heartstrings because this time you're with the Arbiter and the world is like crumbling around you. And I think you're like the last 2 like human souls on this gigantic installation because I think everyone else is already off world. So you got to make it off, or else you're gonna die. And the music,
Better
it's
Warthog 1 than Halo 1.
Everything's cool about it, but I wish the Warthog didn't control like shit. That's all I'm saying.
True.
Fucking hate Warthogs.
Well, you do it enough times like me, and you eventually figure it out. But I guess it can be finicky for some.
It's just like the driving in Borderlands. It's fucking awful. I don't understand.
So you're driving across like these unfinished platforms, and yeah, they're falling apart around you, and there are still Flood trying to come after you, but you leave them all behind because you're trying to make it to the ship. And fun fact, if you stay still long enough, eventually the entire world will like fall apart, and then you'll die.
Yeah, that happened to me because I accidentally like flipped over the Warthog, and then I was trying to get back in. And, like there was like a ramp I had to jump, but like I couldn't make it because like the platform I was on like literally fell.
I flipped the Warthog like probably 7 times last night when I was playing this.
But then the music swells. The strings are like reaching their peak. You see the Forward Onto Dawn in the distance. You get on the ramp. You're in the sky, and then cut to cutscene, and the music just keeps going. It just keeps ramping up, and it's not over yet because in the cutscene, Warhog crashes. I think like Chief is like pinned, so like Arbiter has to go to the ship and start it off. So he goes and starts flying. The Forward Onto Dawn, it starts ascending through the atmosphere, and because nothing is like buckled down, all of the gear and equipment in the hangar bay starts sliding off, and Chief just narrowly escapes being crushed to death by a Scorpion tank. And yeah, Chief just hangs on by the skin of his teeth, but the music fades away, the Forward Onto Dawn escapes, and the ring explodes, and therefore causes a lot of damage to the Ark, and the Flood is extinguished. And Chief tells Cortana that they'll make it. Of course they're going to live. And then fade to white, cut back to Earth. So what happens is the Forward Onto Dawn has been cut in half. The front half makes it to Earth, lands in the ocean, and is the Arbiter. And then they have this beautiful memorial to commemorate the end of the war, the end of this brutal, brutal war that has literally killed billions and billions of people and hundreds of planets across the galaxy. Lord Admiral Hood or Lord Hood or something, he talks to Arbiter and says, I can't forgive what your people did to mine, but I do thank you for being with the chief in the end. And then like he's like, I wish you didn't have to die to end this war. And the Arbiter goes, were it so easy. Which is the line that he said in the beginning of Halo 3 when Chief threatens Arbiter's life.
Tying a knot there.
And then we come back to the rear half of the ship. Chief and Cortana, they're okay, but they're stranded in space. Cortana sends off a beacon, but it could be who knows how long until someone like finds them and rescues them. So until then, Chief decides to take a nap in a cryo tube. And then he says the line that left many Halo fans waiting 5 years to get the payoff of, which is wake me when you need me. Credits. And on the legendary ending, you see that they're drifting towards this mechanical shield world called Requiem, which is the setting for Halo 4. The end. And that's Halo. That is the Halo Bungie trilogy.
Good job, Gaff. Nobody
Spoiler
does
alert,
the plot
we still
Halo
have-
games better.
Spoiler alert, we still have like 1.5 Bungie games left.
Yeah, but those are spin-offs. It's okay.
So we're just gonna go into our normal discussions now, like the likes and dislikes, favorite gun level design, and just like your any thoughts that you want to discuss out there. I did not take as much notes this time because I forgot to do that. But like I said earlier, it doesn't look as good as Halo 2 Anniversary. But like I said earlier, it doesn't look as bad as I remember it being. Obviously, the faces are pretty not that great, especially for the humans. In the Master Chief Collection, there's like these profile pictures you can use, and one of them is a Lord Hood's face of Halo 3.
It's
and
hideous.
It's hideous. Yeah, it's like that's ugly. But then, oh man, this is gonna like this is something I'm really disappointed in. So there's no in-game subtitles for this game, except only in like cutscenes and in normal gameplay. It's so hard to hear what people are saying. Like in that second mission where Miranda's telling you what to do in the bunker, I could not understand what the fuck she was saying, and like I feel like that really like takes away from my enjoyment of this game because I feel like I'm missing out on so much going on. Because I said earlier, like the cutscenes, they don't really explain much of what's going on. They're kind of just like, oh, like you can kind of piece it together, obviously. But the one where you're trying to get to the pillars for the shield, most of the cutscenes are just like telling like transitional things, basically. Where like you're just like being dropped off to a place, like no explanation, and that's really it. Most of like the story is happening in game while you're like fighting and walking around and stuff, and like it kind of bums me out that I can't pay attention to this game because or not paying attention to like I don't understand like what's going on because there's no in-game subtitles. And I know Gaff, you said like they're working on that for the next season, but like we're already done with this, and like I'm fearing for Reach when we get there because I never played Reach and like I want to know what's going on. I need subtitles for that. For me, subtitles just help me focus more like what's going on. Like if I'm hearing like a cutscene without subtitles, if it's balanced fine, sure I can listen to it. But like I feel like subtitles help me focus a lot more on that.
Yeah, fair play. When you're in game, you're shooting things and action is happening, so things might be too loud for you to hear the story dialogue.
Especially in Halo, like a lot of stuff is going on at once, so those subtitles will definitely help. That's really like my only main dislike. I don't know if it's like a good or bad thing, but like I do feel like the game is a little shorter than Combat Evolved and in Halo 2. But like I feel like at the same time that just means that it's more streamlined, I guess.
Yeah, is that a bad thing?
I mean, not really. But like
that was one of my likes was that it was shorter.
Yeah, I think it depends on like what kind of person you are, honestly. Like I think I liked it being shorter, to be honest.
I feel like Halo 2's campaign kind of dragged on quite a bit for me. I liked the succinctness of this one.
Yeah, like I said, there's not really like too many dislikes for me. Like it's basically like I said, like a more well polished Halo 2. Like they got the formula down here.
Well, if you ask 4 out of 10 Halo fans, they'll say Halo 3 is the perfect Halo game.
Yeah, exactly.
As for the other 6, you don't even want to know.
But yeah, like a lot of stuff like we're getting in Infinite comes from like Halo 3, especially like the equipment obviously is like the big one.
Yeah,
There's
definitely.
yeah. Favorite gun for me? I can't really think of one. Oh, maybe the Gravity Hammer. Gravity Hammer got introduced here. I love using that.
Oh yeah.
Actually,
Because
like
we just
using
saw
that.
in Halo 2, but now you can use it.
Yeah, I like that. That's really fun.
It gave us the game type Griff Ball, which do either of you know what that is?
I do.
Sam, Griffball is it was inspired by not inspired, but they got the name from Red versus Blue, the web series.
Okay.
Griffball is like two teams of four. Everyone has a gravity hammer, and there's like a bomb in the middle. And when someone gets the bomb, they turn into Griff, which is a yellow Spartan, and you just have to get it to the goal line, and that's a point. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Basically like soccer, but like Halo-fied.
And people
That
like
sounds nuts.
there's some like advanced tactics with the gravity hammer because there's some you can do some cool jumps because of the physics of the gravity hammer. So
Yeah.
it gets
Yeah.
whack.
I'll lead into my thoughts off of that because the gravity hammer was one of my favorite weapons in this game. Another weapon that I really, really enjoyed, I just really liked the way it felt, was the Brute Spiker.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I fucking loved it.
I
Is
hate the
it?
spiker, man. I
You
think it's the
don't?
worst.
Yeah, man. I love that thing. I was fucking going ham with that thing. And then if enemies get too close, fucking slice and dice, baby. I liked it. I liked the way it felt too. Because I will say, I actually think I like this. I like playing this game more with controller than mouse and keyboard. And obviously that might have something to do with Halo being a console game first and foremost. As far as likes, really love the Ghost. It's my favorite vehicle. Continues to be throughout all the games. I used it every time I got the chance. And to counteract that, my dislike, or one of my dislikes, was every other vehicle.
Really?
Yeah, I just, man, I do not like the way that the other vehicles in this game go.
Like as the warthog?
What's that? Yeah, I don't like the way the Warhawk drives. I like the fucking tank because it's a tank, but like I hate driving it. But I like the tank itself, like the missile launcher or whatever on it. But yeah, I hate the way that felt. What was the Hornet? Is that the flying one?
Yeah.
The Hornet's
I
probably the
think so.
closest thing.
Or is it a Pelican? I forget which one it is.
Oh, is it the hornet or the wasp?
Or the Wasp.
Shoot, I forget.
Whatever. The flying one. The human flying one. That's like my second probably favorite vehicle. Still didn't really enjoy it that much. You don't have it for very long. I did not like the two they introduced, the Brute, what was it?
Really? The
The
chopper and
Yeah,
I
fucking
forget the second
hated
one.
that thing. I liked the way it looked. Like I think aesthetically, I think I liked the way the way it looked the most out of any of the vehicles. But man, I didn't like driving it. Too clunky.
Interesting.
The thing I like about the Ghost is it's like a ghost. It's like fucking nice and floats around. Nice hover.
Yeah.
Got a little dash, whatever. Yeah, love the Ghost. Love me some Ghost. And then yeah, I think I touched on this earlier. I love the outdoor environments. Do not feel the same for the interior design.
Yep.
Um,
Halo
and
has
that's pretty much across all the Halo games. But I noticed it playing this one that's what was going on that I really did not like when I was inside.
I agree with you. The skyboxes for Halo are consistently like very, very good. Yeah, my general thoughts, at least for campaign, I think the campaign is fantastic. It's a very satisfying conclusion to the trilogy. Even though the story, I'll admit, is nothing to write home about. It's a very action packed, like, and cathartic end to the whole war, especially with Chief and Arbiter, becoming bros. I think that's a very fine ending to the story. What's my favorite gun? Well, shout out to the Brute Shot. I don't know if you guys know. It's like the Brute grenade launcher
Mm-hmm.
that has like the gigantic knife attached to like the rear end. I think it has a sick as hell design. It's not the most powerful gun, but I just like the way it sounds, and I just like imagining I'm holding it. It just looks gnarly. And shout out to the Spartan laser. It's a very iconic weapon. It's like a shoulder-mounted laser gun. It's awesome. Oh, as for dislikes, my only dislike in this game is well, the assault rifle for one. I think it's awful, awful gun. I guess this connects to my multiplayer thoughts. I don't like big team battle in Halo 3. I don't know if you guys got a chance to play that in like the brief time you played.
That's what we're doing, yeah.
I was on the map Avalanche, which is the giant snow map, and I don't think 8v8 is enough players for a map as humongous as that. There are like many times of quiet, and I'm always like, because there's no sprint in Halo 3, right? You have to slowly walk everywhere you go, and then you get killed
Yeah.
by someone else who's better with the battle rifle than you are, and you just gotta rinse and repeat.
Yeah, there was I don't remember what map I was on, but this was before Eric hopped on. I was in a turret on one side of the map, and I literally was sitting in it waiting for people to come by, and I didn't like see anybody for like
Yeah.
25 seconds. I was like, man, this map's too big.
Like, I appreciate the scale that they
Yeah.
attempt, but I think the movement of Halo 3 just doesn't justify the enormity of some of these maps. However, the map design though, for most of them, is like amazing. Sand Trap is a really cool map with the behemoth vehicle. I think a lot of the 4v4 maps are really good. The found is it called the Foundry, I think, which is just like the giant crates. It's iconic. I really like the multiplayer. I think it's super refined, especially with the equipment, and I just have a blast playing it every time. I think like every weapon belongs and has like a function. Um, so hats off to the multiplayer. And oh, and shout out to the customization in this game because this is the first game where you can really like have different like shoulder pads and chest bits and helmets, and you can really make your Spartan your own. Shout out to the Hayabusa armor.
For me personally, I really don't have too much to say on the multiplayer aspect of it because I don't really have much experience with Halo 3 multiplayer. With what little I played with Sam, I was just basically like, yeah, this is refined Halo 2 multiplayer. You add in the equipment, and other than that, it just feels just like refinement of the Halo formula. I will say that like I agree with you, Gav. I didn't like big team battle as much because like me and Sam were getting fucking our asses kicked real
Well, that's because
hard.
I suck. That's because I'm just terrible. That has nothing to do with the design of the game. I'm just horrible at it.
Just me in general. I don't really play much of big team battle either way. Like any Halo game, like I like the more smaller arena type modes. To be honest,
That's
like
fair.
I don't feel like getting like double or triple teamed. Yeah, but that's me though. Like Halo 3's multiplayer is something I really don't have much experience with. Maybe because like one, I wasn't around for like 360 days, or it's a highlight, and two, I just prefer like I prefer the more modern Halo multiplayer, like Halo's 5 multiplayer a lot more.
Same.
Yeah, so there's that for me. Yeah, like whenever I go back to the older Halo multiplayer, I'm like, yeah, this is fun for a little bit, but like it's not something I stick with. Do we think the game still holds up really?
I mentioned this in the beginning. Yes, I think it does. Visually, it stands up to like modern games, all thanks to Bungie's art style. Like it just ages so well. Story, still a very fun story to enjoy in today's age. Just blasting stuff, blasting aliens, blasting flood. And multiplayer, I mean, big team battle can be fun. As long as they don't get avalanche, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I feel like maybe if you get like capture the flag or something, could be fun. But
Yeah,
like just doing Slayer, nah, I don't like big team battle Slayer. That's for sure.
my answer is yes, it holds up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it holds up definitely better than the first two. I think me playing with the controller, I was really able to realize like how well it still plays. You know, it's not just the fact that I'm just clicking around with the mouse and keyboard that it still feels all right.
Yeah,
It actually feels good with a console controller. So yeah, I think it ages, and yeah, environment wise, it is gorgeous. Obviously, it's not like the most beautiful game, but it's still. I'm not like looking at it and ugh, gross. It's ugly. Um,
except those faces. Those faces are ugly.
yeah, the faces. But again, the faces aren't the worst I've ever seen. So, uh, but yeah, it ages. It definitely ages pretty well. But yeah, it just continues to be something that I'm not gonna fall in love with, and I think I just have to accept that fact. I think Halo so far of the games I've played has been perfectly okay for me.
Like you guys said, I still think it holds up as well. Like you guys said, I think it holds up. The graphics hold up a lot better than I thought it would. They did at first. Like I said, obviously they don't touch a candle to the Halo 2 anniversary, but that's because that was like a whole remaster they did. This is obviously just upscaled from the original version to like 1080, 4K, 60 FPS. So there's that. But I think like gameplay wise, it's still good. Multiplayer, people always say like this is the best Halo multiplayer has been. That nothing has ever come close to it. But yeah, that's really all I have to say. Like I don't really have too many thoughts on Halo 3 in general. It's just that, well, I'll get to it when we rank it, but like, Gaff, before we rank it, you want to give us some fun facts?
I'll give you the fun facts. Fact number 1. The terminals found throughout each level in Halo 3 tell the story of the Forerunner Flood War, of the Librarian and the Didact, and of the rampancy of Mendicant Bias, which is the most powerful Forerunner AI, which then succumbed to the Flood Logic Plague back when the Forerunners lost the war. So they were teasing Halo 4 even way back then. So I thought that was neat. Fact number 2. Oh, this is the legendary ending, which sets up Halo 4. Also, fun fact. I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Forward Unto Dawn live action series. Does it ring a bell?
I haven't seen it, but I like. There's like I remember like for some reason I was like in a Walmart one day. I just remember seeing the DVD like in their DVD section. I was like, huh, a Halo movie, interesting.
It's surprisingly really good, especially because it was released like episode by episode on Machinima's YouTube channel
Wait, so
way
it's
back
not a
then.
movie? I thought it was like a movie.
And then they put it out as a DVD, cut into one movie.
Oh, okay.
If you're a Halo fan, I think it's pretty good. There's a part in the middle where shit gets real, and it's very, very captivating. So I would definitely recommend it, even just as like a random Netflix watch. I think it's on Netflix. I'm not sure. I don't know. Fact number 3: the famous Believe marketing campaign was used to sell the game, including the notable CGI Starry Night trailer that shows Master Chief fighting against an army of brutes. Let me tell you, if you haven't seen this trailer, go ahead and do yourself a favor, look it up on YouTube, and watch it because it is hype as hell. It was played during the Super Bowl, man. They knew how to sell this game. Fact number 4: Bill Gates famously sold the first copies of Halo 3 at a Microsoft store in Washington. Thank you, Mr. Gates. Fact number 5: in Sandtrap, there is the Elephant, one of the largest vehicles in the game. If you manage to flip it over, you will get a message upon trying to flip it back saying, "Hold X to flip." Wait, what? How did you do that? And fact number 6. To receive the IWHBOID skull, you must jump through the rings 4, 6, 5, 4, 5, 3, 4 of the 7 holographic rings at the end of the 7th mission after killing the Prophet and all enemies in the room.
Gaff,
And
before
those
you
are
go on,
facts for
you
Halo
want to
3.
explain to me what the acronym means? I don't think Sam knows.
I have no idea.
Oh, I actually don't remember.
No?
Take it away.
I'm pretty sure it stands for I would have been your daddy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I forgot exactly what the skull does. Doesn't it just make like the NPCs spout like gibberish basically?
It makes rare dialogue like a bit more common. Yeah.
How did someone figure that out?
I think that someone must have told him. Yeah.
Okay. And is there like is there like any significance in that order of rings to jump through, or is it just a random Easter egg?
I don't think there's any significance to the order.
Okay.
I don't think it's a 7 reference. All right, let's rank Halo 3.
I'm gonna start because as much as I want to like Halo 3 a lot, the lack of subtitles and me like not like when I like the subtitles are a big deal to me because I did not understand this like what was going on in the story a lot. So honestly, for me, and the multiplayer wise, like I'm not just like a old school Halo guy. Like I said, for me, I'm gonna put it below Halo 2 personally.
But none of the games had subtitles. What are you talking about?
I know, but like
That's true.
I feel like the cutscenes in Halo 2 Anniversary, especially, like they explain a lot more. I can enjoy the story of Halo 2 a lot more because of the Anniversary Edition cutscenes. I know that's kind of unfair too because it's the Anniversary Edition, and those cutscenes are.
But that's
fucking
what we
god tier.
played.
That is unfair. That's so unfair.
I know it's unfair. I know, but like that's what we played. Now, if they did
It's
a
alright,
Halo
Gaff.
3 Anniversary and they boosted up those cutscenes, and maybe I would appreciate it more. And I know the Master Chief Collection's getting that update for subtitles soon, but like right now, when we played it, I'm gonna put it below Halo 2, just because, just for me, like it's hard to enjoy the story without knowing what's going on.
But you're going to. So I vote Halo 3 as number 1 because I think it's the whole package. You're telling me you're going to put an unfinished, half-finished game at least above the whole package.
Listen, man, I'm not poo-pooing Halo 3 for being a terrible game. It's just that my enjoyment of it was like severely hindered because of that.
It's a fair point. It's kind of crazy that they don't have subtitles, but Eric's opinion doesn't matter because I'm putting this game at number 1.
I mean, that's fair. I'm not mad. I'm not like, oh, this fuck you. I kind of figured you guys would put it at number 1, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the games have progressively gotten better. I have started 4 before, but I haven't finished it, so I am interested to see if that continues. I have a feeling it doesn't, just because I know people like the original 3. But yeah, I like the length of this campaign is perfect. You know, I played it in one day across 2 sittings. I never like dragged on or anything. There's really the only like level that I was like, man, I don't like this, is the one where you're going to get Cortana. I think all the other missions are great. Yeah, or over 2 for sure.
Halo 3, number 1.
Yeah, so Halo 3, number 1, Halo 2, number 2, and Halo Combat Evolved, number 3.
Wonder where Steven would have ranked it. Obviously, he's not here now, but
Yeah.
I feel like he would put it number 1 too, to be honest. I'm just the outlier here.
Actually, not sure. I think I remember last time him having some apprehension about Halo 3.
Well, we'll never know.
But next week is going to be interesting, right, Eric? I mean, not next week, but next episode.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
ODST. Now.
Oh yeah, shit, that's right. We're doing ODST first.
Yeah, that'll be a short episode because obviously there's like no multiplayer portion for that. I don't know if you want to. I don't think we ever talked about this. Do we want to do firefight, Gaff? You're like
Nah.
Because like you're the most like Halo Xplored out of all of us, I would say, to be honest.
I mean, if you want to weigh firefight in your final opinions and as for like the quality of the game, go for it.
Maybe like I don't know. We'll have to see when we get there. But for now, like Sam said earlier, our rankings are Halo 3 at number 1, Halo 2 at number 2, and Combat Evolved number 3. Oh shit!
You haven't even opened it?
No, it's mint condition.
So that's been it for Halo Xplored this week. If you like what you saw, follow us, like I said, at xinteract_ on Twitter for updates on when we post our next episode of Halo Xplored, which will be Halo 3 ODST. Like we said earlier, it'll probably be a shorter episode because of multiplayer is basically the same as Halo 3's. But otherwise, until next time, Spartans, explore them Halos. Terrible outro, I know, but... Explored. Wake me when you need me. I don't fucking know. I'm just fucking making shit up at this point.
Just pick one of them.
I'll drop a beacon, but it'll be a while before anyone finds us. Years, even. I'll miss you.
Wake me when you need me.